Hey, today we're going to be exploring the Wild Thing pose with some options for beginners. So the Wild Thing pose is quite challenging because we're bringing all our weight into one arm, and there's also an element of a back bend. And the other thing that makes this Wild Thing posture quite difficult is that we are stepping one foot over dynamically, so we're moving into the pose from downward dog, so that can also be a little bit confusing when you're not so familiar with the posture. So we'll start with a few foundations, and you can always start just practicing the first few postures, and over time, if you want to kind of progress up to the Wild Thing, you can try that out over time. So we're going to begin in a cross-legged position. We're going to bring our left hand to the left side. Right hand comes to the back of the head. And on the exhale, we're going to drop our right elbow down. So you're kind of folding a little forward. And then on the inhale, you're kind of actively opening through the shoulder, through the chest, gazing a little up. Left hand stays nice and heavy here. Exhale as you drop the elbow down. And inhaling, opening. And then just doing this a few times. And we're kind of focusing particularly on both shoulders here. So there's the left hand that is heavy in the ground. And then it's the right shoulder that wanting to open as we lift the elbow up here. We can do this one more time on this side. And then slowly exhale, release. And we'll do the opposite side. So you can bring your left hand to the back of the head, right hand to the right. Slowly dropping that left elbow down. And then inhaling to open. Exhale. And inhale. And then just doing this a few times. And then from here, you can slowly release, and we're coming over onto our hands and knees. We're going to do a little bit of a flow here, so fingers are going to spread wide here, toes are going to tuck. We're going to lift slowly the hips up and back, and coming into your downward dog. Now using from here the exhale to drop the knees down to the ground, you can gently arch through the spine. And then exhale, lowering all the way down to the belly. Inhaling, coming up through the chest. And then exhale, tuck the toes and come back to your downward dog. We'll do this a few times. So coming down with the knees, opening through the chest. Slowly lowering down here to belly, and then shoulders stay heavy for your Cobra. And from the Cobra, we'll tuck the toes and come back up to our downward dog. Doing this a few times, you can keep the hands nice and heavy throughout, kind of alternating here, moving through the spine. Do this a couple more times. One more round. And then from here, you can slowly come down to your hands and knees. And you can just turn your right foot a little in and step your left foot out here. Now your right hand is going to drop down, and we're going to inhale, reach that left arm over. And then coming back up and exhale, right arm comes to the left. Come through the center. Drop that right hand down, left arm comes over. And seeing, particularly as you're having that one hand on the ground, can you ground through the palm, lift up, and then alternating, coming back again. Great. So we'll do this 2 more times. And then you're pausing here with that right hand on the ground, left arm coming over. And then you can slowly come down. And we're going to just change sides. So left knee is on the ground, left hand comes down, right leg extends, right arm lifts up, come up on the inhale, exhale leaning over, and then you can ground through that left hand and reach the right arm over. Doing this a few times. A lot of sort of side body movement here. And trying to find that control through the arms here. Doing this one more round, and then we'll pause a moment. Pause with the left hand on the ground, right arm coming over. And then inhaling, coming up. And exhale from here, come to sitting. So we're going to have our feet flat on the floor, palms are on the ground, fingertips facing a little bit towards the hips here, pressing in with the hands and the feet. Inhale, start to lift up through the shoulders, through the hips, and then exhaling to drop back down again. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Do this a couple more times. So inhaling and exhaling. And the next time you come up, you can pause here. You're really seeing if you can lift up through the shoulders, lift up through the hips, and then slowly coming down. And from here, coming back to your hands and knees. So we're going to ground through the palms, ground through the balls of the feet. Allow the knees to come up and hover. Right foot steps to the left, left foot steps to the right. See if you can lift up through the hips. Right and left hand comes to your right shoulder. Right. Slowly coming down. Transition back through hovering. Adjust the feet here. Lift up through the shoulders, lift up through the hips. And then coming back down through the middle. Do this a couple of times. You can already feel pretty strong. So if you're needing to take little breaks in between, you could. If you're feeling that perhaps this is enough for now, you could come to rest instead. And we'll do one more time. And then from here, you can slowly just release a moment and we'll just rest a couple of breaths in child's pose. Slowly come up. And now what we were just doing just then is almost the full wild thing. This is a great place to kind of work. But to come into the wild thing, we're actually coming up from a downward dog. So you can find your way into a downward dog, tuck through the toes, press through the hands, lifting your hips slowly up and back. And then you're going to reach the right leg up and back. So you're coming to a three-legged dog. Bend the right knee and open the right hip. So what we're wanting to do in our wild thing is step that right foot down and kind of flip over. Well, just to begin with, do a couple of openings here through the hip. So right foot comes down, left leg comes up. Bend the knee, slowly open through your left hip. And then releasing, change sides. And we'll do this a couple of times. So you're bending the right knee, you're spinning the right hip over. Most weight goes into the left hand. And then slowly transitioning back through the center. Left leg comes up, bend the left knee. Hip spins open. Weight is more in the right hand. And coming back to that downward dog. Now, if you want to take it a little bit further, you can reach again from here on the inhale, right leg up. Exhale, bend the knee. And then we start to spin round. So left hand is heavy, right foot comes down. You can slightly adjust the feet if you need. Right arm is lifted, hips lift. And this time your right arm comes over and back. Great. We can transition back, so you can kind of spin back round to the downward dog. And then we'll try the other side. So left leg reaches up. You start to bend the left knee. You can pivot your right foot, step back. So now you're lifting up that left arm, you're lifting up the hips. You're reaching maybe that left arm up and over the head. So you're really opening here up through the chest. And then you can rotate back. So you might not do this so glamorously, but just coming back to that downward dog. And we'll try this one more time. So inhale, right leg reaches up. Exhale, bend the knee, left hand stays heavy. You start to flip. So right foot is grounding, hips lift, right arm lifts here. So you're really lifting up out through the chest. And then you can start to flip back again. So flipping slowly back to the downward dog. And we'll do it once more on the left side. Inhale, left leg reaches up. Bend the knee. You can rotate here. Step the feet, lift up through the hips. Reaching that left arm up and over. So right hand is heavy. And then we'll flip all the way back to that downward dog. And from here, dropping the knees down to the ground and coming to rest in your child's pose. And slowly from here come up to sitting. And yeah, thanks for joining me. I hope it was a little clearer, the Wild Thing pose and seeing some of the transitions. You don't necessarily have to be graceful, so you saw that when I was kind of transitioning, sometimes it might have been a little smoother than others. But yeah, hopefully that gives you a little bit the idea. There's quite a lot of strength and stability required in the arm since you're going just onto one arm. But you see there's also that real lift needed from the hips and from the shoulders to create that space in the posture. If you've got any questions or anything you'd like to share with us, do feel free to write that in the comments. And if you'd like to develop a little bit more of your home yoga practice, check out my yoga at home guide. You can find a free link in the description of the video, and that way you can try to find your home consistent practice. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you next time.